money!
Well, my friends, as you all know, there is a mass exodus from Genshin happening, or at least that's what we're being told. A lot of popular streamers and just not so popular streamers that have gained popularity by making I'm Quitting Genshin videos have supposedly quit Genshin, although I would be a little bit skeptical about the implication that all of them have actually quit, but that's neither here nor there. So we have gone ahead and borrowed the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous, which I am quite familiar with myself. And we have a new system that's working for millions of Genshin players. And we're going to go over the 12 steps of Genshin Anonymous today. So buckle in. It's going to be a good one. And we can help you guys recover if you are suffering from Genshin addiction, from gacha addiction. And we can help you save your life before it's too late, before you wind up dead in a ditch somewhere from your debilitating Genshin addiction. Before we get into it, please remember to smash that subscribe button, smash the like button, destroy that fucking like button for me. And if you like this video, leave a comment, let me know what you liked. Let me know if you want to see something different, whatever. I am always willing to kind of do whatever you guys are into, as long as it's not too weird. I'm not into like super weird stuff, so keep it PG-13 and I will consider it. Anyways, let's get into it. Genshin Anonymous, here we come. All right, let's kick this thing off, shall we? My name is Alprazo Man, and I am a Genshin addict, and this, my friends, is how it works from the big book of Genshin Anonymous. So, rarely have we seen a person fail who has thoroughly followed our path. Those who do not recover are people who cannot or will not completely give themselves to this simple program. Usually men and women who are constitutionally incapable of being honest with themselves. There are such unfortunates. They are not at fault. They seem to have been born that way. They are naturally incapable of grasping and developing a manner of living which demands rigorous honesty. Their chances are less than average. There are those, too, who have lost one too many 50-50s and now suffer from grave emotional and mental disorders. But many of them do recover if they have the capacity to be honest, if and only if. Our stories disclose in a general way what we used to be like, what happened, and what we are like now. If you've decided that you want what we have and are willing to go to any length to get it, then you are ready to take certain steps. At some of these we balked. We thought we could find an easier, softer way, but we could not. With all the earnestness at our command, we beg of you to be fearless and thorough from the very start. Some of us have tried to hold on to our 1.x units, and the result was nil until we let go absolutely. Remember that we're dealing with Hoyoverse, cunning, baffling, and powerful. Without help, it is too much for us, but there is one who has all power. That one is Kuro Games. May you find them now. Half measures availed us nothing. We stood at the turning point. We asked Kuro's protection and care with complete abandon. And here are the steps we took, which are suggested as a program of recovery. And these are going to be your 12 steps of Genshin Anonymous, folks. And I'm sorry I'm just reading from the teleprompter, but in our meetings, this is the format. We read these readings so that it gets burned into your brain that this is how you recover, right? And this is the only way that I know that works. And I trust me, 20 years of this, 20 years. And finally, I got myself clean. Okay, here are the steps we took. 1, we admitted we were powerless over Genshin and that our accounts had become unmanageable. 2, we came to believe that a developer greater than Hoyoverse could restore us to sanity. 3, we made a decision to turn our will and our lives and our accounts over to the care of Kuro Games. 4, made a searching and fearless moral inventory of our account. 5, admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. 6, we're entirely ready to uninstall Genshin. 7, humbly downloaded and installed Withering Waves. 8, made a list of all other gacha games that we had wasted our time and money on and became willing to uninstall them all. 9, made direct efforts to uninstall all games wherever possible. 10, we continued to take personal inventory and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. 11, we sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for the knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. And 12, having had a spiritual experience as the result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to Genshin players and to practice these principles in all of our affairs. Very key right there. All of our affairs, right? All right. Many of us exclaimed, "What an order! I can't go through with it." Do not be discouraged. No one among us has been able to maintain anything like perfect adherence to these principles. We are not saints, and the point is that we are willing to grow along spiritual lines. The principles that we have set down are guides to progress. We claim spiritual progress rather than spiritual perfection. Our description of the addict, the chapter to the agnostic, and our adventures from Teyvat before and after make clear 3 pertinent ideas. A, that we were addicted to Genshin and could not manage our own accounts. B, that probably no human power could have relieved our Genshin addiction. And C, that Wuthering Waves could and would if it were downloaded and installed. So that is how it works. That is what we open pretty much every meeting with. We read that. It is from the big book itself of Genshin Anonymous, but we read it because it is just such an important bit. It outlines the steps, and it's just, it all rings true. And once you've had that spiritual experience and you're awake, then it all clicks and it makes sense, right? But for newcomers, it can feel like very redundant. Like, why am I listening to this crap over and over again, every meeting? But once you get your 30-day chip and you're 60, and then especially you're 90 and you're 6 months, it's like, wow, your life really does start to change. Trust me. We're going to go over some other important stuff from the big book, and we're not going to get through all of the steps today. That would take hours if we really wanted to cover them and do them justice, right? We're trying to bring help to a struggling slice of the gaming community right now, the Genshin player that wants to quit, but they just can't find them. They just can't bring themselves to quit. Okay. So we're going to go over the doctor's opinion, which is basically step 1 material. This is the perfect stuff for the newcomer. This is stuff for the newcomer to be able to relate to and say, hey, that is describing me. Because identification is one of the most important things in this entire process. Identification is so important. If you're able to come into a meeting and identify another Genshin player that is struggling, they can't stop pulling on random banners and they're just losing their absolute ever-loving mind, then it's important to find someone else that says, hey, dude, I get it. I've been through that. Let me show you what worked for me. And maybe it'll work for you too. You know, that's what happened to me. And I've been clean for almost 3 years. For me, it was heroin, not Genshin, but same difference, right? Genshin, heroin, they're the same thing. Okay. This is from the doctor's opinion, and this was written about 100 years ago. This is crazy how much it still rings true. Who knew they had Genshin almost 100 years ago, but they did apparently. This is from, I believe, 1934 this was written, and it was published in like 36. Don't quote me on that, but it's right around there. So we're talking about 90 years ago anyhow. The doctor's opinion, and this is just one excerpt from the doctor's opinion. One of my favorite paragraphs in the whole book. It says, men and women play Genshin essentially because they like the effect produced by it, by gambling via in-game currency, F2P, or microtransactions, freemium. The sensation is so elusive that, while they admit it is injurious, they cannot, after a time, differentiate the true from the false. To them, their waifu-crazed, gacha-obsessed life seems the only normal one. They are restless, irritable, and discontented unless they can again experience the sense of ease and comfort which comes at once by taking a few pulls on the banner, pulls which they see others taking with impunity. Then they lose a 50-50, and after they have succumbed to the desire again, as so many do, and the phenomenon of craving develops, they pass through the well-known stages of a spree, emerging remorseful, with a firm resolution not to pull again. This is repeated over and over, and unless this person can experience an entire psychic change, there is very little hope of his recovery. On the other hand, and strange as this may seem to those who do not understand, once a psychic change has occurred, the very same person who seemed doomed who had so many problems he despaired of ever solving them, suddenly finds himself easily able to control his desire to pull for the hot new character, the only effort necessary being that required to follow a few simple rules. So that's the doctor's opinion. Before we move on to steps 2 and 3, I just want to take a pause for a minute here and just say how many of you can identify with that. Let's just kind of take a beat and check in with ourselves. How many of you can identify with that and identify with this, that even when you say, I'm not going to do it again, I'm not going to do it again, and then the new Stygian Onslaught drops and it's, I need the newest character in order to clear something that literally just gives me 100 primo gems. And it's for what? Bragging rights? Or is it that phenomenon of craving that develops? And again, it's going to continue to develop. And until you have had that entire psychic change and literally are not even thinking about or seeing things the same way, you're going to continue to have this thought process. And as every new patch comes out, it's going to be the same thing over again and over again and over again. And I cannot tell you how many countless hundreds of Genshin players I have just met in my personal life that have this experience and probably don't even realize what is actually happening to them, behind the scenes or behind the curtain, that they are literally being controlled and manipulated by, you may call it, a demonic force. And the only solution for that is a power greater than yourself, your own will, the courage, and the greatest willpower that you can muster is at times going to be insufficient to overcome your gacha addiction. And so the only thing that can save you from that is the power of Almighty God, and whoever that God is that you believe in. But yes, it is the power of God Almighty, and in turn will be the power of Kuro Games, who is going to just give you a little bit easier of a time. Okay, so turning your will and your life over to the power of God, and then in turn, after that, turning your will and your life over to turning your account over to the care of Wuthering Waves and Rover and company. So with that, let's get on to steps 2 and 3. We'll do a little bit more reading. All right, so more about steps 2 and 3. Kuro can restore us to sanity, and that's what I was just talking about. When tempted to go back and pull, a great revulsion will rise up within us. Seemingly, we could not pull again even if we wanted to. Thus, Kuro has restored us to sanity. If we work the steps of recovery, God provides the ability to think straight automatically and removes our mental obsession to pull for Sandrone C2, and we continue in that state, living one day at a time. And boy, is that important, that one day at a time. We can't take this thing as a whole, and just say, for the rest of my life. Let's just take it one day at a time. Sometimes we need to take it 1 minute at a time. I know I did in the early going. And then it says, there are 3 principles which are indispensable to us addicts. This is so important. Pay attention here, folks. For you newbies, pay attention. Get out your number 2 pencil right here. Honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. These are indispensable. But with these 3, God and our sponsors can assure us that we are well on our way. And boy, can I attest to that. And millions around the world can attest to that, whatever their addictions may be. Again, yours, it's Genshin. Mine, it was heroin. So, close enough. Okay. Let's get on to 4 and 5. These are a big deal here. And then we're gonna cut it at the end here of the step 4 and 5 coverage. And then we're gonna do a second piece in this series here over the next week or so. Steps 4 and 5. Therefore, you start upon a personal inventory. This is step 4. A business which takes no regular inventory usually goes broke. Taking a commercial inventory is a fact-finding and a fact-facing process. It is an effort to discover the truth about the stock in trade. Its object is to disclose damaged or unsaleable goods, to get rid of them promptly and without regret. If the owner of the business is to be successful, he cannot fool himself about values. We do exactly the same thing with our Genshin accounts. We take stock honestly. First, we search out all the old deadweight units which have caused our failure, being convinced that power creep, manifested in various ways, is what has defeated us. We consider its common manifestations. HP inflation is the number one offender. It destroys more F2Ps than anything else. From it stem all forms of bricked accounts, expensive worthless old units, and spiritual diseases. For we have been not only mentally and physically ill, we have been spiritually sick. When the spiritual malady is overcome, we straighten out mentally and physically. In dealing with old units being power crept, we set them on paper. List the characters with whom you are angry. Ask yourself why you're angry. In most cases, it will be found that your self-esteem, your pocketbook, your ambitions, your personal relationships, including sex. I hope there's no sexual relationships with Genshin characters. So, yeah, disclude that one. Are hurt or threatened. So you are sore. You are burned up. In this book, you will read again and again that God did for us what we could not do for ourselves. We hope that you are convinced now that He can remove the self-will that has blocked you off from tranquility and happiness. You have made your decision. You have made an inventory of the grosser handicaps on your account. You have made a good beginning, for you have swallowed and digested some big chunks of truth about yourself. Are you willing to take the biggest step? So you have taken some of the most difficult steps already by admitting, really, the first step is the hardest, right? Admitting that you have a problem and having the willingness to change, right? It requires honesty. It requires being open-minded in steps 2 and 3, that there is a power greater than you and that you're not the center of the fucking universe, you know? And that your account maybe is shit. Is dog shit, and that maybe it is time for you to try something different. And that is where the wonderful world of Wuthering Waves, that's a tongue twister, wonderful world of Wuthering Waves, say that 10 times fast, comes into play. And my friends, what a wonderful world it is. It is nice and cozy over here, and I think that y'all are going to have a really good time. That is until you lose your first 50-50 over here. But no, anyway, seriously, it's going to be a blast. I promise. It's just going to be so much fun. I think you're just going to love it, and you're going to want to come back for more. And yeah, but we still have, what, 8 more steps to work? So we aren't even close to there yet, guys, but you have made a beginning. And that's what's important to remember. We have got some things on paper. We have prepared to discuss with another human being and with God, who we're angry with, which characters we are ready to shed, how we are going to proceed. Okay. So at that point, this is where we're going to call it for now. This has been El Prazo Man's Guide to Recovery from Genshin Impact. So all you Genshin quitters, I hope you're watching and I hope you're listening. And maybe the great JPEG can take a picture or take a page out of this book, or stick it in his pipe and smoke it, or stick it up his ass, whatever. Anyways, guys, please remember to like and subscribe once again. My channel's still quite small, and every subscription means the world to me. Pop in and say hi. I live stream 5 nights a week, usually. Try to do 5 to 6 nights a week. So you can find me around midnight Pacific time, 5 nights a week. So hopefully we'll see you then, guys. We have a lot of fun. We do different things. We do some giveaways, do Wuthering Waves content. I do cover Genshin. This has all been done in satire. I still play Genshin, so don't come on and start bitching at me because I'm playing Genshin. This is obviously meant to be all in good fun and satire. And I hope you enjoyed it, and I will catch you on the next one. Good evening.